If we want to think about engaging learners, whole group instruction has a lot of problems. Often children are not paying attention, they're not engaged. When I observe classrooms, I often see quite a few children, playing around, looking in the ceiling, looking down, chatting with each other. They're just not engaged in the lesson. Well, there are some really interesting things that you can do to help children get engaged. And one of the things that I want to convince you of is having children raise their hand is not one of them. As a college professor, every semester I have a class of interns who are doing their internship that semester. And every semester, what they complain about the most is kids who call out and don't have the self-control to raise their hands. Every semester. What this tells me is that asking children to raise their hands to answer questions is not the best technique. If it's not working for all of the children and it's across the board a problem in most classrooms, then that tells us that the technique itself is not very useful. If you think about it, teaching children to raise their hands is a skill they will never use anywhere else except school. There's nowhere in adult life where we raise our hands. Imagine the board meeting where people say, ooh, 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 call on me. It's just absurd. We don't use raising hands. So it's not a skill that kids really need to learn for later on in life. So what you're really needing is a way to get kids to communicate, keep them engaged, and not have the ooh, 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 call on me. So I'm going to give you a number of techniques you can use instead, and I think you'll love to add these to your toolbox. The first one I call turn and talk. In this technique, you're asking the children a question, and instead of asking someone to raise their hand to answer, you tell the children to turn to their partner and then talk about the answer. In order to make turn and talk successful, however, remember your procedures. Let's go back to step 1 for a minute. Now, if we want children to turn and talk to their partner, we first have to teach them who their partner is, how they turn, like how do they physically move their body, and we need to teach them that one child talks, the other one listens, and then you flip that. The other child talks, and this child listens. So turn and talk is only going to be successful if you prepare the children for it ahead of time, you rehearse the procedures before you use it the first time. It may also take 3 or 4 times until they get to do it smoothly. But once you've taught this technique, you can use it for the rest of the school year, and the kids will pick up on it very quickly, and they really like it because kids want to talk, right? They want to talk, and they want to talk to their friends. So this is a controlled way of getting them to learn in an engaging format. One of the other important issues in turn and talk is to make sure you keep it short. Don't give the children too much time, or they'll finish talking about whatever you ask them to talk about, and then they'll talk about anything else under the sun and get off task, and then you're going to have trouble getting them to focus again. So keep it very short. Time it. In the beginning, you might only want to do 10, 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Once children are used to this and are a little bit more self-regulated, then you could add a little bit more time. But that's one of the tricks to making turn and talk work well. Keep it short. Let's look at a video that shows a variety of different classrooms using turn and talk so that you can see what it looks like.
The real Mo. He saw Annie dashing across the real drawbridge, and then she vanished through the gate leading to the castle. Talk to a friend. What do you say?
Can we see?
There wasn't a picture. What do you see? What's the movie look like in your head?
You guys talk to each other? So she can be happy and Jack will be by himself and then she can
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I heard some very cool things.
I want you to think about what would your job be during read to self. I want you to turn to your partner and talk about it. Talk about what do you think you would have to do during read to self. You can turn to them. Okay. Danielle, let's read here with Xavier. Xavier, turn to her, buddy. What do you think you would be doing during read to self? This way. This way. Yep. What do you think you would be doing during read to self?
You two are talking. You two are talking. You two are talking. Jose and Cheyenne. You two. 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 All right? 30 seconds. Start talking. You're talking to me.
I can't hear you because you're not giving me eye contact. I can't. I'm quite understand
With your partner, one of you has to have your back turned to the chart, okay? And your partner might ask you, is going to ask you a question. You have to see if you can figure out which planet he or she is talking about, okay? So, for example, let's have, I know you guys are partners, but Samaya, over here, face that way so you don't see the chart. Aisha, sit here, going to pretend you're partner. So Aisha, you're going to ask her a question about one of the planets, okay? Like, for example, you might say, which planet is called the red planet? Okay, and then she will try to answer without looking, okay? All right, so Aisha, can you think of a question using the chart?
Which planet is the smallest planet?
If you don't know, take a guess. No, okay, and that's fine. Listen, we're still learning these facts. If your partner gets it wrong, that's fine. Then they can just look at the chart, and then you can find the answer, honey. Which one is the smallest planet? Turn around, someone. Which one is the smallest planet? This one? Okay. All right. So turn to your partner. Make sure one of you is facing.
You face this way. I'm facing forward. You can't look. No, you can't look. It's the large.
Turn and talk works best when you want some depth to your answers, when you want something to be very thoughtful. So it works especially well in language arts when you want to ask comprehension questions or make predictions or have children connect to text and you want them to be able to share ideas. Of course, it also builds on the language arts standard for speaking and listening. So anyway, it's a great English language arts activity and I'd highly recommend it for your reading activities especially.